So we are just a few hours away from the probably biggest contest of the season for the Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Look, we are coming into this game with a win over the divisional champion. This is huge. We took revenge on them and now back into playoff conversation. Why am I calling this game the biggest contest? Because if we will this, we are very much favorite for the playoffs. Trust me, this isn't going to be your typical feel-good preview because honestly, I'm looking at this game and I see a team that's finally figuring things out going against a Kansas City squad that, quite frankly, everyone keeps giving way too much credit to. Let's get into it. What's up, Cowboys? Welcome to the NFL Playbook, Cowboys. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the America's team. First things first, let's address the elephant in the room. Tyler Guyton isn't playing tomorrow. We're rolling with Nathan Thomas at left tackle, and you know what? I'm not even that worried about it. Everyone's acting like the sky is falling, but Thomas was actually better at left tackle during training camp than he was at right. He's coming home to his natural position. Now, does that mean he's going to shut down everything Kansas City throws at him? Hell no. But let's not act like this is some catastrophic loss when the kid has shown he can play. Speaking of Kansas City, can we stop pretending this Chiefs defense is some elite unit? I've watched the film, and I'm telling you right now, they're middle of the road at best. Yeah, I know what the stats say. 4th in points allowed, 6th in yards allowed, but their record is 6-5 for a reason. Something's not adding up, and when I dug into it, here's what I found. They're not getting home with their pass rush. 22 sacks on the season? That's nothing. They're bringing blitzes left and right, and they're not finishing. Steve Spagnuolo is out there playing chess, moving pieces all over the board, but the execution just isn't there like it used to be. Now, here's where it gets interesting with their defense. They run a 4-3, but the majority of the time you see 2 linebackers out there with Drew Tranquill and Nick Bolton. When they go true base, they'll bring in Leo Chenal. But let me tell you who's going to make plays if they're playing well. It's going to be those linebackers and strong safety Chamari Connor. These last 2 games, they've locked down the run. Gave up 59 yards to Denver, 74 to the Colts. They're in playoff mood defensively, trying to force teams one-dimensional. But here's my problem with all the Chris Jones talks. Everyone keeps saying he's having a down year, and statistically, sure. But go watch the film of these last 2 games. When he wants to be Superman, he still can be. You can single block him most of the time, but in those critical downs and distances, be careful. He'll light you up. And Spags is moving him all over. Defensive end on the right, 1 technique, 3 technique, defensive end on the left, standing up over the center. He's their movable chess piece trying to find soft spots in your protection. The thing that worries me, though, Trent McDuffie. This kid is legit. He's in the top 4 in tackling as a corner, which tells me he's heavily involved in their blitz game and run support. PFF has him ranked 4th. And I'll tell you something controversial. Teams aren't shying away from him. They're testing him, and he's holding up. He's given up less than 40 yards a game. Now, their other corner and their safeties, that's where you can attack them. Brian Cook at safety doesn't look great in open space when he's playing deep in cover 1 or cover 3 situations. Now, let me flip this to our offense for a second, because this is where I think we have a massive advantage that nobody's talking about enough. Dak Prescott against the blitz this year, 7.1 yards per attempt, 68.5% completion percentage, 112.1 passer rating, getting the ball out in 2.6 seconds. Kansas City blitzes 31% of the time, 9th in the NFL. You see where I'm going with this? They want to do one thing that Dak absolutely destroys. And now we've got George Pickens. Can we talk about this addition for a second? This dude changes everything. Kansas City plays a lot of man coverage, about 20% of their snaps. They're going to try to put McDuffie on Pickens, and that's going to be a battle. But here's the thing. Who's covering CeeDee Lamb? Joshua Williams? Jalen Watson? Their nickel corner Chamari Connor? Good luck with that. This is exactly why I think Lamb is about to have a massive game. Everyone's been killing him for the drops, for the struggles, but this matchup, it's perfect for him. Put him in the slot against their nickel corner and watch what happens. Let me get into some X's and O's here, because this is fascinating. Matt Eberflus has fallen in love with the 5-man front, started using it against Denver, ramped it up against the Raiders, and it was on full display against Philadelphia. I'm talking 70% of the defensive snaps. When you run that much 5-man front, that's who you are. Now, With a 5-man front, you typically have 2 high safeties and 2 corners. That's 9 guys. You've got 2 spots left, and Eberflus has been mixing it up. Sometimes it's 1 linebacker and a nickel, sometimes it's 2 traditional linebackers with no nickel, and sometimes they drop Osa Odighiwa into coverage. Here's my issue with this against Kansas City. The Eagles, the Raiders, Denver, none of those teams run heavy 11 personnel. Kansas City does. That's 1 running back, 1 tight end, 3 receivers, and they live in it. So how do you defend it? If you're playing zone out of that 5-man front, you're in trouble because you're not getting pressure with 4, and Patrick Mahomes is just going to sit back there and pick you apart. Rashee Rice absolutely eats zone coverage alive. His numbers against zone are way better than against man. But if you're playing man, you better get home with that pressure. Because if Mahomes has time, he and Kelsey are running backyard football out there. They've said it themselves. Sometimes Kelsey is supposed to run a hook, and he's running an out because he saw something, and Mahomes just knows. That chemistry is unreal. And if you're not getting pressure, you're getting torched. Now, let's talk about something nobody wants to hear. Stay off Patrick Mahomes. I'm serious. This dude gets more favorable calls than anybody in the league. You get him close to the sideline and think you're going to give him a good shove out of bounds? Flag. You hit him anywhere near the head and neck area in the pocket? Flag. I'm telling you right now, we're going to be talking about 2 personal fouls that kept Kansas City drives alive. And you heard it here first. The NFL doesn't play about Patrick Mahomes. They keep him upright. They keep him healthy. So, sack him, do what you gotta do, but all that extra stuff, it's not happening.
On the flip side, let's talk about their offense against our defense. Andy Reid and Matt Nagy are cooking up there, and even though this offense has been kind of unorthodox this year, they're dangerous. They've dealt with injuries all season. Rashee Rice was their #1 receiver, had his incident here in Dallas, got suspended, then they lost him. Hollywood Brown is always banged up, in and out. Travis Kelce's getting long in the tooth. Their running backs Isaiah Pacheco and Kareem Hunt are rotating. They'll be without starting right guard Trey Smith in this game. He's got both a high and low ankle sprain, which is wild, rolled it both ways. But here's the thing, as long as Mahomes is back there healthy, they're one of the most dangerous offenses in football. And our defense? We better be ready because Spags is a sicko. This dude is bringing pressure from everywhere. The slot, the corner, the middle. He's standing Chris Jones up over the center one play, then moving him to defensive end the next. He's trying to find your soft spots, your leaky areas in protection. The good news? We've got the personnel to handle it now. Quinton Williams has changed this entire defense. People keep asking me, who is this team? Well, I'll tell you, before November 2nd, we couldn't beat anybody for sure. After November 3rd, we can beat anybody in the National Football League. That's just a fact. We went into Philadelphia down 21 points and found a way to win against the #1 seed. The addition of Quinton Williams, Jonathan Mingo getting guys back from injury, it's completely turned this thing around. Here's my controversial take for this game. I don't think Kansas City's defense is built to stop what we do. They're 4th in points allowed because their offense hasn't been explosive like years past, so teams haven't had to chase points. But when you actually break down the matchups, CeeDee Lamb against Joshua Williams or whoever they put in the slot, that's a mismatch. George Pickens one-on-one with McDuffie, that's going to be a battle, but Pickens wins those. Jake Ferguson against their linebackers in coverage. Nick Bolton and Drew Tranquill have had problems in coverage. Here's where I'm at with this game. I think we win. I know Kansas City is 6-5. I know they're desperate. I know they understand how to play in desperate mode better than we do, but we've got something going right now. My pick, Cowboys 28, Chiefs 24. This is going to be a barn burner. Points up and down the field, but ultimately our defense is going to make one more play than theirs. Let's see what we're really made of.